life after having already renounced the joys of the world. The person who is prey to regret is like a criminal always tortured by fear. When the arrow of regret has entered the mind, it is implanted there and cannot be torn out. Some stanzas say, if he has done what he should not do, if he has not done what he should have done, he is burned by the fire of regret. Later, he will fall into the bad destinies. A man can regret his crime. After having regretted it, he should forget it. In this way his mind will find peace. He should not think of his mistakes incessantly. There are two kinds of regrets, according to whether there was omission or performance. To attach one's mind to such remorse is the mark of a fool. One must not give oneself up to regret, because the good that one has omitted doing one can always do, and the bad that one has committed, one cannot help having already done it. It is for all these reasons that the obstacle of excitement and of regret is condemned. 5. Removing doubt. The obstacle of doubt. When doubt covers the mind, one is unable to fix one's mind on the good dharmas. Concentration being absent, there is nothing to be gained from the buddhadharma. Thus a man who goes to a mountain of jewels is unable to gather any if he has no hands. Speaking of doubt, some stanzas say, the person at the crossroads who hesitates goes nowhere. It is the same for doubt about the true nature of dharmas. As a result of doubt, one does not diligently seek the true nature of dharmas. Doubt is the outcome of ignorance. It is the worst of all the evils. In regard to good and bad dharmas, samsara and nirvana, the absolute truth and dharmata, one should not conceive any doubt. If you conceive doubts, the king of death and his jailers will enchain you. Like the gazelle taken by the lion, you will find no way to escape. Although here below there may always be doubts, it is important to follow the holy dharma. The person who comes across a fork in the road should always take the good path. It is for all these reasons that it is necessary to remove the obstacle of doubt. Removing these 5 obstacles is like escaping from the debt that you owe. Curing a serious illness, finding an oasis in the desert, being saved from the hands of brigands and finding safety free of torment. Thus the ascetic who has removed the 5 obstacles has a pacified mind, pure and joyful. The sun and moon are hidden by 5 things. When smoke, cloud, dust, fog or the hand of the Asura Rahu intercepts them, they cannot shine. Similarly, when a person's mind is covered by the 5 obstacles, it can be of no use either to oneself or to others. C. Third method. Practicing the 5 dharmas. If he has been able to reject the 5 sense objects and remove the 5 obstacles, the ascetic practices the 5 dharmas. 1. Aspiration. 2. Exertion. 3. Mindfulness. 4. Clear seeing. 5. Concentration of mind. By practicing these 5 dharmas, he acquires the first dhyana furnished with 5 members. 1. Chanda is zeal in Kamada. 2. When it is produced, the first dhyana is obtained. 2. Virya in the observance of the precepts, in leaving family life, concentrated zeal without laziness during the 2 watches of the night, limited food and one-pointedness of mind without distraction. 3. Smrti is mindfulness applied to the happiness of the first dhyana. The ascetic knows that Kamada is impure, deceptive, contemptible, whereas the first dhyana is estimable and laudable. 4. Samprajnana is a clear seeing, appreciating and considering the happiness of Kamada and the happiness of the first dhyana, their importance and their respective benefits. 6. TreatiseGreat consists of always fixing the mind on one object and preventing scattering. Furthermore, in pursuing the first dhyana, one rejects the sense pleasures, for by incessantly trying to conquer one's enemies that one is no longer tormented by them. The Buddha said to a Brahmin attached to desire, "At the start, I had precise vision of the desires. The desires are cause and condition of fear, of sadness and of suffering. The desires bring little pleasure, but much pain. Desire is Mara's net and fetter from which it is difficult to escape. It is like a forest burning on all 4 sides. Desire is as dreadful as falling onto a ditch full of fire or handling a venomous snake. It is like a brigand brandishing a sword, like a wicked Rakshasa, like dangerous poison poured into the mouth, like molten copper poured down one's throat, like a mad elephant, like falling off a cliff, like a lion barring the road, like the Makara fish opening its mouth. Desires are as formidable as all of those. Attachment to desire is man's misfortune. The person attached to desire is like a prisoner in his jail, a deer in a pen, a fish that has taken the bait, a snake in the presence of a wild boar, a mouse in the claws of a cat, a bird in a net, a crow in among kites, a blind man on the edge of a ditch, a fly above boiling oil, a sick man in the army, a crippled man in a fire. Being attached to desire is entering into a river of salt water, licking a knife coated with honey. Desire is meat sold at the crossroads, the slicing forest hidden under a thin cover, excrement covered with flowers, a poison jar dipped in honey, a chest full of poisonous snakes, the illusion of a dream, the loan that must be repaid, the magic show that fools little children, the flame without any solidity. Giving oneself up to desire is like diving into deep water, being swallowed by the Makara fish's gullet. Desire is the hail that destroys the grain, the lightning that strikes men. Desires are all of that, deceptive, unreal, without consistency or vigor. They bring little pleasure but much suffering. Desire is Mara's army that destroys all good qualities. Since it torments beings unceasingly, it lends itself to many comparisons. By rejecting the 5 desires, by keeping away from the 5 obstacles, and by practicing the 5 dharmas, one arrives at the first dhyana. Question. The absorptions and concentrations, such as the 8 liberations, the 8 spheres of mastery, the 10 spheres of totality and the 4 immeasurables, are never described as virtues. Why is dhyana the only one to be described as the virtue of dhyana? Answer. 1. The qualities of all these absorptions are of the order of reflection and meditation. In the language of the scene, dhyana means reflection and meditation. In speaking of the virtue of dhyana, all the qualities are included. 2. Moreover, dhyana is in the most important place, like a king. Speaking of dhyana is to include all the other absorptions. Speaking of the other absorptions does not include dhyana. Why? Because in the 4 dhyanas, knowledge and the absorptions are equal and balanced. In the anagamya, knowledge overcomes absorption, whereas in the formless absorptions, arapyasamapati, following the dhyanas, absorption overcomes knowledge. These states are not balanced. When one wheel of a chariot is more solid than the other, it is not safe.